rage, raw rebellion, and aching sorrow that erupts when we experience unfair dominance and control by the outside world. Astrology was a male-dominated practice for thousands of years, with many interpretations, studies, and concepts contributed by men like Ptolemy, Plato, and Socrates. Women's voices weren't truly visible in the metaphysical world until the 20th century, beginning with the famous American astrologer Evangeline Adams. In tarot, we also have the British artist of the Rider-Waite deck, Pamela Colman Smith. Her major contribution as illustrator, writer, and creator of the deck was overshadowed by the male occultist who commissioned her work, Arthur Edward Waite. She received very little compensation or recognition while she was alive for what is now the best-selling tarot deck of all time. The way we interpret the stars has been through a mainly patriarchal lens, which can limit the perspective of the practice. Like women occultists who came before, I've written this book to disrupt astrology, adding a new layer of research and interpretation through my own lens and life perspective as a Black woman in America. I do want to acknowledge that the landscape is changing in modern astrology. Now you can find a plethora of voices from different backgrounds doing astrological analysis. Here, I interpret the dark goddess through my consciousness as someone who has experienced firsthand the archetype of her myth: systemic racism, prejudice, misogyny, and sexism in America on a deep, cellular level. This work is made in the rebellious spirit of Lilith, offering a different perspective on her. When I first began incorporating Black Moon Lilith in my astrological studies, I realized how aligned her plight is with the Black woman's experience globally. Lilith's level of oppression was embedded in my DNA and in unconscious patterns from witnessing what family members have experienced all the way back to my enslaved African and Indigenous American ancestors. Lilith, who was punished and seen as an evil monster for asking for equality, is highly aligned with the experience of people across the African diaspora. Black women endure misogyny in their communities and families, even within the diaspora, and from others they endure racism. This book will address these realities in relation to Lilith's archetype. Goddess energy in astrology is not niche. It is not only for women. Rather, female deities and archetypes are foundational to understanding the birth chart, and everyone, regardless of gender identity, should know them. We all have various levels of masculine and feminine energy, and the healing of the feminine is needed as we progress in modern times. Lilith is the dark feminine wounding within the collective that is living and breathing within us all, waiting to be seen, resolved, and healed. Everyone has Black Moon Lilith energy, and you've felt that energy in your life depending on how she shows up in your natal chart. She gets placed in the shadows because she may be too much for you to handle, only coming out when you've left her unaddressed and unseen for too long. This insight is meant to be digested slowly, and it's important to take time outside of listening to this book to process, meditate, and journal, especially on topics that you may find triggering or difficult to absorb. This book is also a shadow work tool meant to assist in self-healing. I discuss the darkness that exists in everyone's life that tends to get swept under the rug, unaddressed. Black Moon Lilith reminds us that when we shine a light on and integrate the darkness, we become empowered creators of our own lives. Difficult events, trauma, and death are all facets of life that we cannot control, though they impact and shape our lives. Black Moon Lilith pushes you to look at the darkness within to clear what's oppressing you and holding you back from your power.